right, we are live. This is live. We're going live. Hi, everybody. I am Jonathan Small. I am the host of Small Talk on Substack, and welcome to our Substack Live. I am thrilled about today's topic. I'm thrilled about my guests. I'm joined by Sasha Cohen there on the right and Katrina Woznicki. Hey, did I pronounce that right?
Yeah,
Woznicki
go
on the
you.
left. On the left. And we are going to talk today about algorithms and doom scrolling and all these terrible things that have rendered our society today completely impotent and unhappy and longing for a different time, maybe a time in the past where algorithms did not reign supreme. We call it internet lingo, IRL, in real life. That's what the kids call it. You could call it analog, you can call it whatever you want, but there seems to be a movement, a slow growing movement away from sort of this digital AI fueled world that we are in today, back to a time when there is a lot more attachment to physical things. And we're talking about vinyl here. We're talking about actual print books. We're talking about DVDs and CDs and even cassette tapes in certain instances. And we talk about the, is this like a
Jonathan, you're
real
having a
movement? Is
tiny
this just
little there's a little glitch in your
sorry?
there's a little glitch in your internet.
Oh no.
Or maybe it's me. I don't know. I keep on seeing this. Maybe it's me.
I know this is LA woo woo, but
I don't think it.
retrograde.
Oh yeah. There's always some your internet connection. What is this? Hold on a second, guys. My internet connection.
Hey,
I've
it's
never had a problem.
technology. Technology is screwing with us because we're about
This
to
is
talk cinema.
exactly what we
Yeah, we're
want to
talking
talk about.
back. Technology knows.
Yeah.
The algorithms
So
know.
I'm sorry if I broke up there for a minute. And let me. Well, I don't know. I hope I didn't break up. Tell me again if I break up again. But anyway,
All
the
right.
point is,
Well,
I'm going to introduce my guests. Katrina, why don't you go first? I'm bad at introducing, so I'll just let you explain who you are and a little bit about your Substack.
Sure. Thank you, Jonathan. My name's Katrina Woznicki. I'm based in LA, Culver City to be exact. I write the Substack LA Woman Chasing the Dream at 50, all about navigating career goals in a youth obsessed city. And I'm a 2025 Solus Awards Grand Prize winner where I wrote about Los Angeles. So obviously, LA is close to my heart.
nice.
And Sasha, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hey guys, I'm Sasha Cohen. I write the Substack A Good Vintage. I'm currently in France. And I basically split my time between the US and France at the moment. I'm a writer and my Substack is about France and midlife and making big changes and small changes as we reach middle age and kind of reinventing ourselves a little bit also. And yeah, happy to be here with these two great people.
Well, we are thrilled to have you, and we're thrilled to have our some of our audience here. We've got Kappa, Ken, Jane, Madison, Holly, Carl. Thank you so much for joining. I'm John Small, as I said. Small talk. I consider myself. Actually, I don't consider myself this at all, but sometimes I am called the Gen X whisperer because I write
Awesome.
about Gen X and all things Gen X. But let's talk about, in light of talking about Gen X and the glorious past, let's talk about this algorithmic world that we live in. Do you think, we're finally hitting a wall? Like we have been fed this steady diet of algorithms now for the last few years. And are people finally fed up? And who is fed up? Is it everybody? But let me turn that question over to one of you guys. Like, where are we in terms of algorithms right now?
Katrina?
Well, I don't want to say that maybe I have like Luddite leanings. I'm not sure that's entirely true because I do enjoy aspects of tech. But just having things constantly pop up in my face on my screen, I found exhausting. So I want to think that my childhood, which was literally spent reading books in trees, like I would climb up into a tree and read a book. So I was that kid. I grew up in rural upstate New York. So I was that dork in a tree reading a book, and that dork still lives on, I guess, with all the algorithmic stuff going on. So who's this happening to? I think it's not just, Gen X. I think there are a lot of people who are feeling this. I'm seeing this in Gen Z. I have a Gen Z in my household. I made one. So, like,
You made
so
one.
I made one. So it's kind of just interesting to see, things in my generation being enjoyed by my daughter's generation. So, I mean, she's certainly on TikTok. I'm not anymore. I quit a lot of social media, but it just, I don't know. I reached a saturation point. I don't think we're alone. Otherwise, we wouldn't be having this chat. And
Yeah.
I don't know, Sasha. What do you think?
Well, I want to sort of set some context for the people who are joining. So, the three of us, old folk here, were very much at the forefront of, online digital media. I mean, all three of us have worked in publishing and writing and content for many, many years. And so we were there at the, beginning of the internet. And I remember loving it so much when I was younger, and the ability to connect with people was just amazing to me. But I will say nowadays, I feel like it just steals my attention. It steals my time. And it makes me feel bad, honestly. Like, spending time in front of a screen, with the exception of talking to you guys, makes me feel kind of crappy. So I think the algorithm is eating our brains,
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, it is a little ironic. I don't know if that's the right word. Isn't it ironic? See, I'm going to do some Alanis Morissette references just to make
Please.
sure my
Yeah,
Gen X
Yes.
credentials.
all the
But
time.
it's a little ironic that we're doing this talk on a digital platform that's very much a 21st century platform. So it's not like we're poo-pooing the new modern technology, and but I think that there's sort of a plea, and I think that we're all sort of feeling it, for just a bit of moderation, and kind of like not having our whole lives ruled by algorithms and by these phones that are basically in all of our hands. I mean, we talk about this thing called digital fatigue, and I think we all know what that feels like, where it's like you sit down and look at your phone, and an hour later you get up and you have no idea what you just did for the last hour, but you know that you were scrolling through. At least this is my experience. I've been scrolling through, what they call doom scrolling, like Instagram or something, just feeling terrible about myself, and yet knowing I'm going to feel terrible about myself going into it, and still I do it anyway. It's like the ultimate addiction, right? And
It's an addiction for sure. Yeah,
it's an
absolutely.
addiction, and that's why it's so scary that it's in the hands of kids, because we're adults and we can't even control this stuff. So imagine putting it in the. But that's a whole other separate conversation. Jonathan Haidt can talk to us about that. But this idea that it just makes you feel terrible, like just physically, like the feeling I get after I've been doing that for an hour, it's an awful feeling. And I think if I'm feeling this, I'm sure so many other people are feeling that same feeling. It's not satisfying at all in any way. And yet we keep doing it. Do you guys have the same experience? I know that you're kind of off of digital a little bit, but what's your experience with that digital fatigue?
I would completely agree. And I would say for me, digital fatigue is, just echoing what you and Sasha said, as well as like just an emptiness and a loneliness and kind of an absurdity to it. We were just talking about this earlier, but when I clicked on, the clickbait, and I clicked on this thing about Chelsea Clinton and her weight gain. I don't care. I don't care. I hope she's fine. I hope her cholesterol levels like, I hope it's all fine. But I ended up down this rabbit hole of this algorithm clickbait rabbit hole. Afterwards, I was just like, this is absurd. And I think,
I think we just lost Jonathan.
oh dear.
I'm not
Okay.
seeing Jonathan. Jonathan, are you there?
Yeah, I don't see him either. Oh, hopefully he'll come back.
Hopefully he'll come back. Otherwise, we'll just have to, forge ahead.
The
Gosh,
show
Katrina, this is like a lot of responsibility here,
Yeah,
just you and me.
on,
It,
Jonathan. There he
There
goes.
he
am
is.
I back?
Hi, you're back.
I'm back. You know what happened is this is it's the damn algorithm. It just kicked me off my Wi-Fi. I
Yeah,
blame digital today. Anyway, let's
Son
keep
of a
going.
bitch.
I'm
yeah,
sorry about
Yeah.
the technical difficulty.
we're talking smack, and this is going to be a rough hour. We're going to get punished, but we'll persevere.
Well, that's the thing. We're going to get. I feel like the powers that be, Peter Thiel, all these guys, they're trying to destroy our connection here. It's a
But we are
conspiracy.
Gen X, so we know how to persevere and pivot, right? That's what.
That's true. That's
That's
what we
how
do.
we
That's how
roll.
we do.
Yeah.
That's how
Well,
we do.
I also think because we're Gen X, we have the advantage, perhaps differently than millennials or Gen Z, of remembering a youth without all this stuff. Just like what it was like to hang out with your friends and not have phones, and how you planned up meetups, and just the way you socialized before having a phone. Are like, oh my gosh, that wasn't so bad. So
No, I miss it. I miss those days. I have a real nostalgia for the time before screens and phones.
But,
Yeah.
but what's so interesting is we miss it. But then you mentioned, Katrina mentioned she has a child, a Gen Z. I have two Gen Zs. I got a 19 and a 15-year-old, and they don't even know what they're missing, and they still want to go back to the stuff that we like. Now, I don't know if this is our influence, because they see that, like they see dad reading a book or they see dad listening to a vinyl record. I have a lot of vinyl, as you can see back here. I'm a DJ on the side, but I don't know what that's all about. Like, a lot of the movement towards analog is actually from a generation that never experienced analog firsthand. Like it wasn't their experience as kids. So what do you think that's all about?
I actually think a lot of it's music driven. I've been spinning vinyl at home since, I don't know, 2016, 2017. My daughter gave me records for Christmas presents. And also she grew up on a diet of like, Led Zeppelin and the Sundays, and, just whatever I was listening to. Incorporated that into her own interests. So, but a lot of it I think might be music driven. I don't know. That's been my
Yeah,
experience.
and TikTok, I mean, unfortunately, TikTok, which is kind of the devil in some ways, is definitely where this begins. I feel some of these trends begin because they hear the songs on TikTok, right? They
Mhm.
become, I mean, I just Zanzibar from Billy Joel was recently a hot song on. That's like a deep cut Billy Joel song, and that
That's a
one
deep
of my
cut.
favorite, one of my favorite Billy Joel songs. But that was recent. Like my kids were like, "Dad, you know Zanzibar?" I'm like, Zanzibar? Yes, I know. I
I had a
mean,
student
so
reference "Careless Whispers" by Wham, and I went, "Wait, what? You're 11." So
That's amazing.
uh,
Careless Whisperer.
that
Listen
always
to you,
amazes me
George.
because can you imagine us referencing songs from 40 years when we were 18, referencing songs that were 40 years old? Like,
that was
Mom, you know that Jack Benny song? I mean, what? It's like I would never
like a
do that.
skeleton that just dropped. Yeah, no, that didn't happen.
Exactly. So yeah, I think kids are super into it. I was reading an article in the New York Times recently about how there is Gen Z. There's kind of a movement now towards buying DVDs, like going to old stores and buying DVDs of videos that you can very easily, find on streaming services. And yet they want to have a DVD, and we're trying to understand like why would anybody want a DVD in an age when you can click on Netflix or Amazon or whatever and get it in 2 seconds. And one of the arguments that was made is that there's people want a sense of ownership of
Mhm.
their media. Like nowadays, if you watch a video, if you stream a video, it's almost like you're still renting it. Even if you buy the video, you're still renting it. Somebody else, it's being housed somewhere else in some cloud somewhere else. It's not yours. You can't touch it. You can't hold it. You can't decide to watch it. What do you guys think about that idea of ownership? Like, there's something sort of nice about the ownership of physical media.
Well, I think people want a tactile experience. I mean, just like the fact, so there are a couple things I just wanted to mention. I mean, obviously, we're social animals. So even though Gen Z may not have grown up without all of these things, these types of technologies, at the end of the day, they're still innately social creatures. They want to be with each other. And then the tactile importance of having something, having a book, having a record that you can take and touch and look at. I think that's just part of who we are as humans. And that's not going to go away. I mean, robots and AI and all that. I don't think that that's going to ever replace what makes us human. At
Well,
least I hope not.
yeah. I don't even know if she knows what the word analog means. Like, she came home with this of stuff from her friend's mom's garage, and she's like, "Check out all this physical media." And I'm like, "You mean a box of stuff?" It like,
I
it
know this word physical media. That's a new word
yeah,
that I.
yes, she had a whole term for it and everything. Look at all this physical media, and I'm like, it's stuff, But as I noted in my Substack, I kind of like held this tape cassette. When did I last touch a tape cassette? I don't know, and I'm holding it like it's some fossil that's going to just like, disintegrate in my hands. It just felt so delicate. So yeah, it like this term. I don't know. As Sasha was saying, it's the tactile experience. It's it fosters a different kind of connection. I think that
Mhm.
just hey, check this out, and yeah, we all like the convenience of sending somebody a link like, hey, check out this song, or look what just I don't. We're not going to give that up, but I think we're reaching a point where we can kind of like learn to appreciate both worlds, so to speak.
The
I
one thing
just wanted to
I really miss the experience, and I wish my kids could have this experience, and maybe they want to replicate it, of buying a record, buying an album, like at Sam Goody, right? Bringing it home and opening it up and then putting it on the record player and lying on your bed and like holding the album and reading like the liner notes or whatever as you listen to the whole album. Like that was such a formative type of experience in my childhood. And I there is just something about that experience of like holding the actual record, reading can you remember like even looking at like old Beatles, like, Sergeant Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band, remember like the crazy photograph on the cover and trying to figure out who all the different people were. And, um, like, I don't know, there's just something about that experience that I think is so much better than leafing through Spotify, playlists and,
It's empty. That's an empty experience. It
yeah,
doesn't feel like anything. It's out there in the ether, right? But I just wanted to kind of engage a little bit with our viewers or whatever and
yeah,
see. I'm curious to hear, and feel free, folks, to like write stuff in the comments. If you have, do you have vinyl? Do you have? Obviously, I'm sure that everyone who's
Yeah,
on
what
here, I would imagine, has books. But do you have DVDs? Do you have, right? Do you have cassette tapes still? I just Does it matter? Do you care? Like, let us know.
yeah. And I wonder if there's less of us, less people our age that have this stuff than the younger age. Like, it's interesting. Like, I wonder if this sort of like we maybe because we already have it, so but younger
Mhm.
people are buying it because they didn't have it before. Like, I kept all my vinyl. It drives my wife crazy. It's moved with us like 100 times, and it's like look at this vinyl. It's ridiculous. It's very cumbersome. But yeah, I'm wondering if anybody has an experience of like having tactile things that they like. Like I've saved my magazines, like, and maybe I don't, which is really ridiculous.
That is
Like I have
amazing,
this
Jonathan.
closet
Wow.
full of not all my magazines, but a lot of magazines, maybe things that I had articles in the 90s, whatever. But I showed my daughter the other day a Teen People from 2002, and she was like blown away by it. She had never like this idea of a teen magazine that had all these people. Now she didn't know anybody in there except for Usher. Somehow Usher has managed to last for 20 years. But
Well,
um,
maybe it's time to bring print magazines back. Maybe the three of us are just the
oh
people
my gosh,
to
could
to start a magazine.
I have my clips from I started out as a paper journalist, and then I was in magazines. I have my
Yeah,
clips from magazine. I was in Newsweek in 1999 and 2000, and I still have them. And one of I mean, like, I work with people who are about the same age as that Newsweek magazine. Like, that's just wild to me, and it's a little yellowed around the edges, and I don't know. I mean, certain
I,
things are definitely worth keeping. One I guess analog experience that I don't mind not having under my roof is the BlackBerry, which apparently TikTok was,
oh,
we
you went away there for a minute.
how
TikTok.
like,
frozen.
Well, you
boss
disappeared
to
when
say
you were
do
saying
this and a BlackBerry. That's
you were sorry. You glitched when you were saying something about TikTok. Was TikTok bringing back the she's TikTok does not want us to hear Katrina, because she's just like,
I think that's right, Jonathan. Every time we say anything about one of the technologies, somebody freezes up. So I'm gonna say Facebook, and
conspiracy.
all of a sudden it's gonna
I'm
like
scared.
freeze.
This is the X Files in me, the Gen X Files. Sorry. Yeah,
No,
that
you
is
should
so
give a
crazy.
plug, Jonathan. You should give a plug for your
Yeah,
launch.
well, yeah. I'm sorry. This is a time for a little commercial break. This is my merch. You can find it on my merch store. Uh, I got the Gen X hat, Gen X Files hat, and this is my Mr. Cacciatore's down on Sullivan Street shirt.
Uh,
Billy
I
Joel
really want
shirt.
one. I want one of those. So
If
please
you
send.
want one of those, they are on my merch store at Substack. Okay, this brought to you by John Small Substack. Okay, going back. Hopefully, we haven't completely lost Katrina. Katrina, you're not
No,
allowed to
she's
talk about
back.
TikTok.
She's back.
You're not
yeah,
allowed to talk about TikTok anymore because
I
every time you talk
but I
about
think no
TikTok,
one knows. Like I think like it's we're not alone. Like it's we're being,
yeah.
something is here. Spoke about TikTok and all of a sudden I froze.
Okay. Um,
Scary.
I
Scary
so let's
times.
not talk about TikTok because it's going to freeze all our cameras. If you got, um, yeah, and you keep going off, yeah. But anyway, so let me change a little bit here and talk about do you guys aside from like media, are you finding that you like to do things like knitting or even writing like longhand, like stuff that kind of connects you to a time in the past that that was almost like gone, like do you guys still ever write longhand? I don't even think kids learn how to write longhand.
Yes, I do. I write in my journal. And
Okay.
and and a parent. Oh wow, hi dad. I just saw my dad. I didn't know my dad. I didn't know and hi Nora. I didn't know he knew how to use this technology. This is so exciting. Hi dad. My dad's 88 and dialing in from DC. So cool.
Very cool.
Um so I still do write in my journal and it uses a different part of your brain. That's my understanding. I didn't just come up with that, but it apparently when you write with a pen and paper, it accesses a different part of your brain and your emotions than if you're just on a computer. So something to
Yeah,
think
that's
about.
really interesting. That's why I do this, and I'm sure some people are familiar with this. What do you call it? Pages? My pages in the morning, my morning pages. Sorry,
Yes, yes, the writer's
uh,
way.
which is from the Artist Way,
Oh, the artist's
and
way.
yeah, and morning pages are just like you wake up in the morning and you just write whatever's in your head freehand, with a pencil in a book. And that practice, the writer Julia Cameron says it's like clearing the cobwebs of your brain. It is an incredible experience. I mean, I kills my wrist because I have I haven't written in so long that when I'm actually writing, it actually like it's tiring for that muscle. But there's something about the muscle up here that it stimulates. I don't know. Katrina, do you have any experience like doing longhand or doing stuff that's not sort of so digitally focused?
I have journals upon yeah, like Sasha. I have journals upon journals in longhand cursive, and also they are trying to teach cursive for kids with anxiety at the
Mhm.
elementary level. They're trying to bring back cursive. It helps calm them. So going to Sasha's point about it using a different part of your brain, um, you know, because when you read a lot of student essays, it's a lot of like text talk. But for kids specifically with like maybe behavior trackers or things of that nature. They have an anxiety challenge. They're using going back to cursive as a calming. Uh, it's therapeutic now, which as you know, you write
That's
like we were saying,
cool.
right journal. That's therapeutic.
So
Hmm.
interesting.
Yeah.
Do you think? I mean, is this just a trend? Like, what thing I worry about is everybody's like, oh yeah, back to analog. It's like a trendy thing. It's cool because TikTok is saying. No, I didn't say TikTok because
You did
ICWOC
not.
because
I didn't hear
ICWOC
it.
is saying because ICWOC is saying that it's cool. People are doing it, but as soon as ICWOC says that AI is cool, what do you guys think about that?
I think the backlash is here, and I think it's just going to get bigger. I think there's
I
a real hunger for community and people coming together in real life. And the people who figure out how to facilitate that now, I think are going to really make a difference in people's lives. Because I think we just are all too stuck on our phones, too stuck on our screens. I mean, I get stuck on Substack. It sucks a lot of time that I probably should be doing other things. But I will say I've met some awesome people like you guys and like other people. Hi, Betty Carlson. She just joined, and Betty's one of my French Substack friends. I think that there's a real
Community.
need for, yeah, I mean, Substack, that's what I was going where I was going with that, is that Substack does facilitate this community outside of just people writing and reading. So I think they're very smart, actually. And I've been reading a lot about Substack and how they are facilitating in-person gatherings with writers and things like that. So I think that they're onto something. Yeah.
I agree. I also saw Sarah Sestola, my editor. So hi, Sarah. Thanks for joining in. I would agree, and I would think I think it is here to stay in the sense that people use apps, smartphone technology, whatever it is, to find community, like in real life communities. I think
Yeah.
that's what we see. Like just the apps aren't going to go away, but it will be a doorway to something else. Because I think after COVID and just all this constant swiping and algorithm living, people miss people.
Yeah.
So so we may be using the same tools. I've met a really awesome writer through Instagram, and another great friend through Instagram. We are in real life friends. So, it's a platform. As instead of like relying on it as just like the sole means of connection, I think we're going to see it as just like a springboard to, finding your different in real life communities.
Yeah. What do you
Yeah,
think, Jonathan?
and
I'm
you
gonna
were,
I'm
but
gonna
you were
throw
one
it
thing.
back on the interviewer.
Yeah, well, one thing that I do want to just return to Katrina, because one thing that she had mentioned in our conversation before we got on live is even dating has changed. Like, right now, and I'm not on the dating scene right now, but and I kind of missed the whole like swipe left thing because I got married in 2004, sort of before that all went down. But you said even like there's sort of like a movement away from the swipe left, the bumbles and all that kind of stuff, and kind of a little bit more in person like experience, right? I mean, is
Yeah.
that changed at all?
Speed dating has picked up. Like, so people will use an app, like I was saying earlier, to find, in a way, it's like finding different communities. So they'll use an app service to find a single event. Like City Swoon, I think, is one example. But just like the passive swiping, everybody's sick of it. So these in real life events are pitching themselves like, "Are you sick of swiping?" And then you'll see, like, the next day or the day after, these events are sold out. So obviously people are sick of swiping. Otherwise, these events wouldn't be selling out so quick.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's really encouraging. I was encouraged. There was an article about this group called the Luddite Club in Brooklyn, and it's a high school group, and they basically are a bunch of kids who just basically gave up their digital phones and started using flip phones, and like had a lot of more in person conversations. They started reading like real books instead of Kindles and stuff on their phone. I mean, I believe that our children are our future, as Whitney Houston once said.
Oh wow.
And
Second good reference.
yeah, thank you. This is what I do as the Gen X whisperer. I just pull out these ridiculous Gen X references from but anyway, point being that I feel like we, of course, we as Gen X are going to be gravitate towards the stuff that we are familiar with and grew up with and love, because we're nostalgic for it, etc., and comfortable with it. But I'm encouraged that like children or young people, Gen X, maybe even Generation Alpha, seem to be gravitating towards it too. I mean, I'm not a investor, but I feel like vinyl is making a comeback. I feel like maybe in 10 years, like magazines will make a comeback. Like people are going to start wanting to read magazines, physical magazines again. I really,
Well,
I
like,
really,
I don't think it's going to take 10 years. Like I said,
okay.
I think we should start one.
I mean, let's do it.
Let's do it. Who else
I
here?
miss
Okay, I'm
magazines
putting
so
it out
much.
to I want to put it out to the people. Who here would read a magazine about Gen X or whatever? I mean,
Even
the
not
three
really,
of
it
us.
could just be just a magazine that's about smart. I mean, like a New Yorker, but like,
Culture,
yeah.
yeah,
I
culture,
mean,
music,
uh,
relationships, whatever, art.
me. And it's interesting. Like, I feel like I look at people reading magazines on airplanes. I feel like it's the last place people still read magazines is on airplanes. And I don't know if that's just very Gen X. Like it's a real tradition for me to go into Hudson News when I'm traveling and buy a magazine, even though I don't have to anymore. Just read it on my phone. but I just love the experience of like reading them, like going into this news, like picking them newsstand, looking like for a magazine. Oh, this looks good, and then like actually buying the magazine and reading it on the plane. I don't know.
I love it too. I used to love getting a magazine in the mail. It was like a little gift every month, and
Right.
now that just doesn't exist. You don't have that anticipation. That's the problem. There's no more anticipation in life because everything's immediate.
And
I
you don't
was
have to work. You Yeah, you don't
no,
have to work for stuff
I-
anymore, right? You can get everything so immediately, and it's nice. There's something nice about working for it, like having to go out and buy the magazine, or having to go and buy the or even rent the video. Just
or wait for the show to come out next week instead of
exactly.
the
binge
last
watching it.
gratification. Like just well, and also like I think we talked about this before at another time. Just the ritual around magazine reading, newspaper reading. Whether you took it to a cafe or at home. Cracking open the Sunday paper or flip it through. Like I used to. I did a piece for Elle like ages ago. I used to get Elle and flip through and look at Fast Forward, and that there was a joy in that. Like just again, the tactile experience. But I think people will come to like physical media or analog media and have different relationships with it depending on their age. Like for us, it's obviously nostalgic. For my daughter, it's a sense of wonder. Or, it's just people will come in, and I don't think it's going to go away. I think it will have its various uses, whatever that turns out to be.
Thank you, Maria, for your title suggestion for the magazine. I'm going to
Gen
write that
existence.
down.
It's
That is,
Gen existence. Yeah, Maria, I love that.
yeah,
Um,
that's awesome.
All right, who else has title suggestions? Because this could happen.
well,
Seriously.
yeah, I know this is going to happen. I do think, I mean, not to dwell too much on Gen X, but I would imagine there's a bunch of Gen X people listening to this or watching this. There is a kind of hunger. We're considered sort of the forgotten generation. I don't know how true that is, but I do feel like we created a lot of things that people are hungry for. I just did a article on music videos and how MTV is going to be playing music videos 24/7 for a week in September, and how like that was so much a part of our experience growing up, is turning on MTV and watching music videos. And like I think, and then sort of MTV all of a sudden got into sort of reality TV, and I don't even know what hell. I haven't watched MTV in 10 years, I have to admit, so I have no idea what's on MTV anymore. But I think there is like people will see those videos, and I see those videos have billions of views. Like we were on to something back then. Like there was something sort of special about watching music videos and having, experiencing music in that way. I don't know.
We
So
would get together in college in the Rathskeller at Tulane and watch 120 minutes every Sunday night.
yeah,
And, there
Yep,
was something it was like,
totally.
again, it was just getting together with your friends and having this experience. But a big part of it was, yeah, the videos are great, but also we're together.
the
We're
community. Yeah,
with our friends, having a beer, being dumb college kids, it was great.
I
I
love it.
that aha of MTV video, and I vividly remember
Yeah.
watching that at a house party. Like
Yeah.
that, yeah, so it was like a shared experience as opposed to like seeing something alone on your phone, which you know, has contributed to like just all the anxiety and isolation and the doom scrolling going on now adds to that. So again, I think people out their communities and try to use apps in whatever way possible. Like, oh, if there's an MTV watch party, if there's an app for that, and then you go to the actual party.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. This,
Great.
I think in a world where, like, I guess in the old days people had like church and religion, and people maybe still have that, but it's just not so much a part of people's lives. And so there's no like kind of established like community thing to do. Like, even we don't even work in offices anymore. Now we're all working remotely. So like there's just this pull away from any kind of community um organization, and I feel like people crave that so much right now. um
Yeah.
One thing that really changed for me, I think I mentioned this in my last podcast, so I apologize for repeating it, but so my therapist, this is such an LA thing. My therapist was telling me that she started a men's group, right? Where like every week I get together with like 8 other guys. She's in the room, and we just talk about stuff like that's on our mind. And at first I thought it was like really hokey, because I don't like kind of like group therapy sounded weird to me, but I tell you, it's been like very life transforming for me to have like a place that I can go with kind of strangers. I mean, they're not strangers anymore, but we don't know each other like personally. They're not like friends, but we just like talk about stuff, and it's a community, and it's been so helpful. And I was like, if every guy and every woman had this experience of just being able to get together, if you don't have friends like this, with 10 people, and just to be able to talk about stuff and like, you know, I don't know. There's just something very important about that that's been really taken away from us
That
with the way technology
get
is
in your
built.
car and go. Is that
Yeah.
right?
What's that?
You drive to this, Jonathan. This is not
Yeah.
like a spirit.
Oh, this
Yeah,
is
so
not
that
a Zoom thing. No, I get in traffic. I have to go
Wow.
like valley into the valley. It takes me an hour
Oh
to
my
get there,
God.
5
That's
miles.
commitment.
And I was like, that to me is dedication. Like this thing is hard to get to, and I still do it every week. Um, and my wife says it's like changed me. I don't know. I can't adjudicate my own experience. She says it's definitely changed the way I am. I feel she seems I'm less stressed out, etc. So I feel
I think for
fortunate that I.
men, Jonathan, I think for men, it's super important because I think women have an easier time, getting
Yep.
together and forming friendships and going and having coffee or whatever. Men find it really hard. So I think that it's amazing that you're doing this and that your therapist is facilitating this. I think if there were more groups for men, we wouldn't be in the
You're
shitty positions we're in right now in
There
this
wouldn't
country.
be as many incels. Yeah, I
Yeah.
for sure. I mean, I'm 100% believe that. I don't know how to. Maybe I could start another company called Groups for Men or something. But yeah, I think it's super helpful for guys to have. And you're right. Like guys, there's been a lot of studies about how men, like their only friends are their wives, or their
Yeah.
girlfriends.
Yeah.
Especially as you get older, you make less and less friends.
Well,
Um,
I just wanted to say one really quick thing about that, and also give a shout out to the fact that I'm in France.
oh yeah, we have to talk about that.
No, but my point in bringing that up is to say that, I don't know anyone in this new city that we're in right now. And so my goal is always to meet people. So I use social media to facilitate meeting people in real life. And as someone who's traveling and have, I don't have a community in France, but my husband and I have been able to meet all these great people because of technology and because of social media. But without that, I would be really lost because to me, like having that ability to go and have, cocktails with someone or coffee has really changed how I view travel and this whole experience. Otherwise, it would be completely isolating. So I think that, it's really, really important that we use the tools at our disposal to get together and meet people without losing sight of the fact that, we can also get sucked into the algorithm to kind of bring it back.
Completely agree. Completely
I would
agree.
be okay. You take the step. You meet somebody, through a social media or app. So you meet at a cafe, a bar, whatever. You're starting to form that. I would like to see more of okay when you're actually at the bar, or cafe, or whatever. Like you go to write at a cafe. Well, everybody's plugged in, and if
Yeah,
you somebody at a cafe who's plugged in, they're like, it's like deer in the headlights. They're shocked. It's like, oh my gosh, this is
completely.
like standing in front of me talking to me, and it's like I would like to see people relax into that a bit more, so that if you're approached, and when an older person will approach me, like and it's just some throwaway comment, like, oh my gosh, what a long wait for the coffee, or whatever. It can be small, but there's engagement. But if you go up to a younger person to make that kind of like small throwaway comment, like looking at you like
I
what?
love talking to old people for that very reason.
Oh, they freak out. I know. They're
Yeah, they
so
really do. I love young people. I love all people, but like the young people freak out if they're approached.
that yeah, I don't know what to do about that. That is an issue. I hope that changes, I mean, I'm sure that you guys have had the experience, either friends or your own kids, where it's like I literally will like I'll walk in on my daughter hanging out with her friends, and they're all just on their phone sitting in her room, kind of
Oh
like laughing.
no,
And it's
that's
bizarre.
that's bizarre. That is bizarre.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think she's coming out okay. So I knock on wood. I don't know. I haven't seen what that's going to lead to as an adult. But it is. I love more of that interaction. The other day I was online and some guy was on his speakerphone, like really loud with a friend, And I turned around. This is such a Karen moment, but I was like, dude, turn your freaking speakerphone off. Like, I don't want to talk,
Good.
you
I'm
know?
so glad
And
you did
he
that,
looked,
Jonathan.
he was so shocked that I did that. Like, his face, he's like, are you serious right now? Like, to me, I was so shocked that he would just talk at like a high volume online in an indoor space with his friend. I didn't want to hear his damn conversation with his friend online. Anyway, it's kind of a
No,
different
that's a shocking thing when people do that, and it happens everywhere. And
right.
it
But
it yeah,
But
they should be
Josh,
paying
I want
attention.
to know, you're in France, so sometimes Europe is ahead of us, sometimes they're behind us in
Yes,
certain trends. And but like do you sense like there's a little more IRL life in France? Like, are
yes,
people less
100%.
okay? How so?
So first of all, cafe culture here is
Real.
thriving. In every city you go to, you walk through a place or a square, and there are cafes all around, and they're just overflowing with people, and the people are talking to each other. They are, sure, you're going to pass the occasional person on their phone, but in general, people are engaged in talking to each other. That's one thing. There's a thing here, and I'm going to get it totally wrong, I'm sure, but Betty can correct me. There are these affinity groups or associations, for lack of a better word. I think they actually may be called associations, where people just get together based on common interests and hobbies. And they are a huge part of French culture. They're in every city, every town. You can join one in about, kayaking, one for a certain kind of cooking, one for walking, one for whatever. And that is a real part of the culture here, is to spend time with other people. The
Mm,
other piece that's so huge here, obviously, is the food, and sitting down for a meal and sitting down for a long lunch with your work colleagues, going out to lunch rather than sitting at your desk. So
mm.
yeah, it's all of those things are so, so important. Okay, Betty says, yes, la vie associative is a big deal here. Thank you, Betty. Betty has been living in France for a very long time, and I just wanted to double check that I wasn't speaking out of school here. But yeah, it feels really different here. I have to say, it feels like people want to engage, for example, I mean, not to like go off on a total French tangent, but real quick, you say bonjour to every single person you encounter. When you go into a cafe, a shop, anything, you say bonjour, you have a conversation. Before you leave, you say merci, au revoir. You always say these things. And so that kind of opens things up.
Hmm.
It makes things easier. It makes it easier to have that personal connection with anyone at any time. It's really cool. I love it.
What, Katrina, what can we do? You mentioned, talking to people in person and like actually like, I'm afraid I'm going to look like a creep if I walk up to somebody in a cafe, like, hey, what you working on? you know,
Yeah.
um, but what can we do to kind of like encourage a more analog lifestyle, a more slowed down lifestyle?
Yeah, no, if I suppose if somebody approached me in a cafe, depending on what are they working on, I guess I would just roll with it. 'Cause, that's
But
kind of
you're
I
my
would be
cool,
thrilled.
Katrina. You're cool like that. Like not
Yeah,
I mean,
a lot of
okay,
people
so
would.
you take an interest in my work. Let's talk about it. I mean, for me personally, I take salsa lessons in Marina Del Rey around the corner, and what I like about this, not just because it's a dance studio community, but because everybody's off their phones and it is a shared experience in a way. And same with my yoga studio. It is like my church. Like
Yeah.
we just are all like in the shared experience. Phones are in your bags or whatever, and you get to do this thing. And then there's a WhatsApp chat and all that stuff. So we're plugged in some degree, but just go to things and again, I think the phones have allowed introverts too much of a free pass for too long. I don't know if that sounds harsh, but we do need to step out of ourselves and out of our heads and just like when I go out for my walk, I say hello to everybody.
That's great.
Like I just do like just to just for them to have that. I also send postcards to people randomly.
Mm,
This is something I've always done. Like
That is
for
so cute. I'm
I
waiting for
yeah,
love
that.
that.
Yeah, after this, send me your addresses. I'll send you guys postcards. But like I will send. This is something I've done since my 20s. But I'll just send
So
people
cute.
postcards
That is
I
because
love
adorable.
it.
because it's nice to get, like, going back to the magazine experience. It's nice to get a little pretty surprise in the mail. That's
Yeah,
all I'm trying to do.
Mm.
Like, here's a
that's
little
awesome.
something. It's like saying hi on text, but I go, I
The mail,
stamp.
sending a letter, sending a postcard is such a little gift that you're giving to people. It's such a
Yes.
lovely little surprise. I love it.
The only thing
Thank you.
I love that. You mentioned going on a walk, and
Yeah.
I feel like walks are kind of underrated. Like, but the thing about the walk is you can't go on a walk with your earbuds and listening to a podcast. I mean, there's nothing that gives me more joy than doing that, honestly. But
Yeah, it's
one thing
true.
I have experienced is if you just go out for a walk and don't have all this media, um, you will notice so many more things. You'll be more engaging with people. I live in a kind of flat
Wait,
part
is
of
that
LA.
the Jennifer Esposito? Ooh, we have a celebrity in our midst.
Oh,
Sorry, didn't mean to call you out, Jennifer.
that's awesome. So yeah,
That's because
going
we've
out
got
and
the
for a
LA
walk with
people here. That's
yeah,
why we've got the LA.
I love it. I also want to so going out for a walk without your earbuds, just like noticing stuff is like it's like a wonderful gift, and I feel like it maybe will be contagious because other people will see that you're walking around without without your earbuds, and they might want to copy you too. Somebody, Maria Luisa Latorre, said here in the south of Spain, the street is an extension of the living room. People hate staying in. And let me
Yeah.
just echo that by saying I just got back from Spain. I was in Madrid and Barcelona, and I did notice that the sort of outdoor culture, just like you were saying, Sasha, in France, is so alive. There was a special day in Spain, and I'm sure Maria will tell me, where they celebrate books. Like they actually have a day dedicated to books, which is like incredible. I can't imagine that in America. And every street is filled with these book fairs, and people have desks of print books, and you just go around, you browse through the books, and buy books, and then the people give you flowers. Maria, you can tell me what this day is called. It's like Saint something Day, and it was just magical. Like I was like, where am I? I was so encouraged, and I would love to start a national. I'm sure we have some sort of book day in America, but it's a different type of thing. It's not like everybody's out on the streets reading books. So it's special, and we have a lot to learn from our friends across the seas.
Yeah, well, I
I
think
think
that
we
you
should
two
check
could.
Book Day and the block party, and I think we should combine them.
Block parties. I miss block
Yes.
parties.
Block
We still do them in the U.S.
Yeah.
Here and there, but yeah, but you guys are in LA, and you could facilitate all these great things. I'm
LA
a little
harder
envious.
'cause it was built to not almost to be the antithesis. It's so funny, they built if you're in LA, there's this thing called the Grove, which is this like outdoor mall, and it's like the most popular place for Gen Zers to go because it's like a little city within the city. It's like what LA should have been, right? It's like little shops and there's a
Yeah.
trolley,
like
and but it's like everybody wants to be in a city. They want to be around a lot of people and mulling around and so they had to build a mall to recreate the city vibe, which is so depressing. But I would like to run to be the mayor of the Grove. I decided that I want to be the mayor. Um, but anyway, that's sort of like almost a return. Like LA was built as this big sprawling thing, and then everybody realized that nobody really wanted that. Like people do want to be connected, and so people in Europe and on the East Coast of America have a little bit more of an advantage there. But
Yeah, people want the town square. They want to walk up and down Main Street and have people saying hello to them. All those things. I think people really want that. I don't know. I'm betting that some of this is gonna come back.
I hope so because it's right now.
On a phone with their neighbors and hey, what do you listen to? Hey, what are you reading? I actually ask people that, and sometimes you get a response, and you're like, oh, I'm not really reading anything, and that's that. That's the end of the conversation.
Right. Right. Exactly.
Yeah, yeah, you're
What are you
good.
gonna do?
I'm bad at talking to strangers.
Yeah, it's not easy. I mean, I actually wrote an article myself recently. Shout out to ARP's The Girlfriend about saying hi to strangers and how it's like a little serotonin boost, and it really has been shown to improve your mood to speak to
Mm.
strangers. So I would challenge everyone to say hi to a stranger when you're out next and see how you feel. Because I don't know, I love it. It makes me feel good.
I agree.
Yeah.
Also, get a record player or get a DVD player, get a VCR. I don't know, to get something where you can, start enjoying physical media again if you don't have it already.
Yeah, make your friend a mixtape.
Oh,
Mixtape.
Oh, so Jonathan, we're almost
hopefully something
at
upbeat
the
though.
hour here.
That's
We're almost
great.
at an hour. I think we've covered a lot. This has been really interesting. I think it's encouraging to know that, right now all the headlines are all about how AI is about to take over our lives, and and it feels like almost hopeless. But at the end of the day, like, we're the consumers and we're the people that this is all meant for. And I feel like and maybe the media is not reporting on it, but there is a movement, I feel like, sort of against the tide. The technology is going to be here. AI is not going to go away, but it doesn't have to control our lives. And so it is encouraging, I think, to hear you guys thinking the same way I'm thinking. And again, like, that young people are also kind of getting tired of algorithms and AI telling them. I mean, even the AI slop that's out there, like, people don't like it. Um,
It
they
just makes
think,
you feel dirty, doesn't it? Doesn't it just kind of like make you feel kind of like, ew, I need to take a
yeah,
Well,
shower?
it's
I
gross.
talked about AI in myself, and that was really, really trippy and weird. So yeah, it's weird, and it's also kind of scary what AI pulls together, and some of it's inaccurate. But yeah, like it also I counter that by going out for a walk with no headphones, no nothing. Like I'm just walking, listening to birds, watching dogs poop on the sidewalk, whatever. Like just getting back to reality.
Well, if anybody has any comments that they'd like to put in, the live chat is now open. Um, I so appreciate, God, how many people joined us today? Like, at least like,
This is great. It says,
yeah,
yeah, this is
and it's all
exciting.
your guys' friends. No, well,
I
actually,
doubt
no,
it.
no,
Who's
it's
here?
not. A lot of people we don't know. And
Oh, motherfucked.
Oh,
Hi. Hi, Vivian. I love you.
it's so awesome. So I'm John Small from Small Talk, um, and you guys announce who you are.
Sasha Cohen with a good vintage.
Katrina Woznicki, LA woman.
So I will rebroadcast this for all that missed it, but it's been a really great conversation and encouraging, and hopefully a nice way to start the weekend. And go and talk to somebody. I'm going to get right off the thing, walk outside and talk to someone.
Yeah,
They're
go
going to think
talk to
I'm
someone.
nuts. Yeah.
Love it. Thanks, you guys.
Awesome.
So fun.
Thank you.
All right.
Bye. Bye.
Signing off.
See ya.